Maarifasasa exists to empower you for the digital knowledge economy with a mission to create digital employment opportunities for Africa's youth. The Maarifasasa podcast was born out of that, to paint a picture and delve deeper into this course. In each episode, we'll explore the transformative power of digital skills, freelancing, innovation, and so much more. You will get the chance to hear from our inspiring alumni, expert mentors, and industry leaders as they share their journeys, tips, and secrets to building a successful digital career. So whether you are a seasoned pro or just starting out, there is definitely something here for everyone. For today's conversation, we'll be listening to a man all the way from Southern Africa. And this guy, whenever his name is mentioned, there is always a lot of positivity in the air. And it's always associated with good vibes too. He was one of the Young World Ambassadors 2018 and Mandela Washington Fellow 2019. Meet Phila Dlamini, the Maarifasasa strategic partner. So thank you for joining us on the Maarifasasa podcast. It's really amazing to have you today to just shed some light on what we are doing, especially in Eswatini, and what it's like to drive digital transformation that way. So before we can actually jump right into this thing, there's this question we always ask each and every guest, right? So to you, what is the one thing that nobody really knows about you? And it's only up to now that they'll get to know that about you.
Well, I'm in the public domain, Andrew. But firstly, thank you for having me. I hope next time you'll have me physically in Uganda. But nonetheless, we'll do it, this way this time. People know quite almost everything about me. I'm in the public domain. I think I would just share maybe what I think is interesting about me. The fact that I'm trained in engineering, chemical engineering, but I find myself working in the human capital space, so what is traditionally known as HR, in a bank. So that's quite unique, and I think it's always a very good talking point. So I'd love to share that more than anything.
All right, it's wonderful how the change in dynamics, right? Because you said you're into the science space, but now you're more of a human person. That's wonderful to hear. We understand that you've been working with this organization called Maarifasasa. So what is it about them that really inspires you to be a part of whatever it is that they're working on?
We are living in different times, Andrew, and I think there's nothing more inspiring for me in this particular perspective, other than the fact that first and foremost, Maarifasasa is an organization that is led by young people. And not only is it led by young people, but it's young people with a heart for other young people. That's number one. That's the first point of inspiration. And then secondly, it's about digital skills development. And the second layer to that is that digital skills development for the world. It's like Africa to the world type of things, where Maarifasasa says we want to train young Africans in digital skills, want to train them quickly, want to train them well, and then want to send them out to the world. So for me, there's nothing better than that in as far as an African value proposition. In fact, a Pan-African value proposition. So it's quite the inspiration really for me. And that's why anything Maarifasasa, I really want to know what it is. I want to be a part of it. And I want to assist wherever I can.
All right. There's something that you spoke that really, really piqued my interest, especially around, the digital part of it. Now, so what is the situation like, in Eswatini, majorly looking at what opportunities that, this youth, the young population could really benefit from? Could you just paint a bit of a picture for us around Eswatini?
I think in any country, the first and most important thing around digitization is infrastructure. and where the infrastructure is. Because then if infrastructure is good, if it's set up, then it allows for access, easy access and cheap access, then you stimulate an entire population. So where we are currently in the country is much like most African countries. Our infrastructure, and as far as the digitization is concerned, is still growing. We're a country on the move. Access is still not that easy in terms of not just availability, but also in terms of price. You know, data is still a bit expensive. So it means even if you have a passion to get online and do work online or do anything really online, you still have to pay quite the premium. But like I say, we're a country on the move. We are seeing changes. Our telecom space is opening up. We recently had, in fact, not even recently, I think about a year ago, Starlink was licensed in the country. So you can see that the country is really making moves towards that. So I think as we move, then we will see a big sort of appetite amongst Eswatini to come in and exist within the digital space, be more online, and do more work online, and possibly even run more businesses online as well. So the easy answer is we're a country on the move. The more technical answer is really what I've explained around just the fact that we are still developing in that space. But we're excited. We have a very vibrant Minister of ICT currently and CEO within the Swaziland, the RSTP, Royal Science and Technology Park. So yeah, I'm optimistic.
In Africa, when we talk about internet, I think it really affects everybody in terms of speed. First of all, speed is really not so good, and it's also expensive. But we believe with Starlink really penetrating the market, it's really going to change a lot of those things, especially around access, speed, and the price of data. And we know those things are really important when it comes to just connecting people, especially the youth, and so that they can tap into the opportunities that it's provided digitally. Switching off a bit, you've hinted on how ready Eswatini is getting. You said you're a country on the move, which is good. You mentioned something around RSTP, Royal Science and Technology Park. So, how do you see innovation, especially coming up with bearing in mind, of course, internet is really expanding in the country, and some of those opportunities that really connect people globally is picking up in the country too. So, what innovations, what spirit of innovation and resilience do you really see being portrayed among the population?
The population is hungry, Andrew, and our population in the country is predominantly young people. I think over 60% of the population in the country is possibly below the age of 25. Wow. You can keep me honest there. Excuse me. That's something we can verify. But nonetheless, it's a population of young people. And with young people, almost every new development, there's just a quick appetite to take it up and to do something about it. If you look at how young people play within social media, and you have the sense that with the fact that we're developing as a country and trying to build sort of like the infrastructure around networks and availability of the internet, then really just it's in the hands of young people now to take advantage of all the things that are being built from a government perspective. So I think it's quite exciting to watch. It's one of those things where I believe organically we will just see exponential growth within the digital space in the country. You have mentioned again the RSTP, and I just want to say they recently appointed a very incredible CEO that I think is one of the answers that we've been asking about and asking for in the space. So now we know that there's a bit of infrastructure that has been developed at the RSTP centers themselves, where computer labs are built and programs are being developed. Of course, partnerships with institutions such as Maarifasasa are also being created. So we're just looking forward to a complete change in the space. doesn't it might not happen as quickly as we wanted, but we just want it to happen. And as it happens, we're very certain and confident that the country will reap some really amazing rewards.
You know, some of these things don't really come so fast, but as long as efforts are being made to make sure they happen, something good really comes out of it. Now we know, not so long ago, Maarifasasa had, penetrated into Eswatini, and from what you hear, from the population or the people who've been involved with the organization, how do you see the lives of people being shaped so far?
It's funny you'd ask this. I was hosting a graduation ceremony just a week ago, and when we're having lunch after the ceremony, one of the ladies who were graduating with Maarifasasa from Healing Place actually came to me and said, "Hey, I'm now working at the college, you know," and of course she's qualified, but she was just sharing how the program that she did with Maarifasasa, just from a digital sort of upskilling perspective, helped her gain confidence, and then she was able, to even implement that and then find herself in the position that she's in now. So, I mean, this is just one example, but there's a lot of other young people that I've come across who have said this program has helped me, just understand digital marketing at its most, minute level, basic level, and it has opened me up to the world at large, and I feel like I can now play in this space without fear or favor. So I think even though it's only been one cohort, I do believe that even this cohort has been impacted in a way that will add a drop in the ocean of change within the kingdom. But now you can only look forward to the impact from other cohorts as well. So yeah, it's incredible work, and I think Maarifasasa should be proud of the work that has started happening in the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Wow, that's really wonderful feedback to hear. So if let's say, looking into the future, okay, what do you see? What are your hopes for Maarifasasa into the country? Let's look at 5 years. We know you've been a part of the organization, but what do you see? What do you see the hope like in the next 5 years?
I hope that in the next 5 years, Maarifasasa and the program that Maarifasasa is offering will be part of the community. Like top of mind when we speak about digital skills development for young people. Maarifasasa, I hope, will be one of those top 3 institutions that everybody speaks about as an option in the Kingdom of Eswatini. And I think that's very much possible, having seen the first cohort, but also having seen the vibrant leadership that Maarifasasa boasts. That's a possibility.
And so earlier on, you mentioned something around, having a new CEO at RSTP, and so we believe, partnerships really help, a lot of organizations, not only Maarifasasa, but it's what flourishes, what most organizations do. So to you, how do you see partnerships with businesses and other government entities helping to address the issue of unemployment and skills gap, which is really relevant throughout Africa at the moment?
Andrew, as long as government, businesses, and other bodies, as you say, work in silos, then we're not going anywhere as a society. Just in general, everybody's an expert somewhere, and if all these experts in those different fields come together to work together, then we close almost every gap that exists. For instance, businesses are subject matter experts in the different fields where they play. If you're a bank, you're obviously an SME in banking, right? If you are in manufacturing, you're an SME in manufacturing, and everything else. And then from a government perspective, of course, your expertise is around policy and running a country, and same in the civic space. So by coming together, and creating a partnership or different partnerships at different levels, whatever objective we're trying to solve for at that particular point. Then we create a melting pot of solutions, right? So if we are all intentional to create the environment where we are constantly in partnership and break down all of the silos and break down all of these I don't know, like communities of just no, I'm doing this on my own and therefore do not want to participate in anything else. If we're able to break those up, then even from a skills development perspective, we'll be able to know first and foremost what are the skills we need, what are the skills we have, and how do we close that gap. Of course, using each other as sounding boards. We, from a corporate perspective, for instance, will be able to then help government create, even at university level, courses or programs that solve our problems. So at this point, you find that business is way ahead of universities, and then when graduates come out of university, they're not good enough, for the businesses that they're trying to get into because they're learning outdated technologies and outdated programs that don't solve for today's problems. And the reason is because corporate also is not coming to the party as far as partnering with government. So really, let's just break the silos and then ensure that we're working together at every level.
I completely agree with you on that. We are stronger together. It's the only way we can actually move forward and really touch more lives out there. If you had to give your advice to anybody in Eswatini, and we really want to be this so unique, right? I'm going to request you to just give this advice. We want it to sound to the Emaswati out there. Perhaps then later on, you then just translate it to English. But if you had to give an advice of how for getting started in the digital economy, what would that really be for Emaswatis out there?
Oh, that's a tall order. That's a very tall order. But I would love to first and foremost, Andrew, speak to the young people, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the message is going to be generic even across, but I think it's more important to the young. And I will say it in Siswati.
Yes.
Bekunene, kude lotago, kude lotago. Ngicela ukuthi sikhumbule lokuthi kude lotago lolothi ugathe ukuthi akuside nguwe. Lolothi ugathe ukuthi uthanda timphendvulo nguwe. Timphendvulo tonke tilapho kuwe. Lusito lonke lulapho kuwe. Ngakho ke lokhu ucoka ukuthi ukwadi ukuthi kude lotago. And Andrew, this loosely translated is nobody is coming. Like nobody's coming. If you're looking for answers from someone else, that person is you. If you're looking for solutions from elsewhere, that elsewhere is really just within. So the most important thing for us to remember is nobody's coming. So we have to upskill ourselves. We have to improve ourselves. We have to get to a level where we are the producers of the answers. We are the ones that are crafting the solutions. That we are the ones that we have been waiting for.
That's really inspiring, Phila. I love the way that you are clicking in there. I really look forward to learning how to click.
And, I will teach you how to click, my brother.
Definitely. Sign me up anytime. So as we plan on landing this down, so how can anybody in Eswatini be a part of the organization?
So I know Maarifasasa is setting up an office at the moment. So very soon you will have the contacts. But at the moment, on a social media perspective, Andrew will share all of the links that we can find for Maarifasasa while Maarifasasa is setting up in Eswatini. And then as soon as all that is complete as well, I know Maarifasasa will be sharing all of the details and the contact of how to reach out to them. But at the moment, social media on the website, maarifasasa.com. Andrew, keep me honest.
Yes.
You can find all of the programs. You can find the about section of the business. And then you can have full understanding and immerse yourself really on the programs that Maarifasasa is providing for Africa, not just for Eswatini, but for Africa. So you become an African citizen that is ready to showcase their talent or their skills to the world.
All right. Thank you, Phila. Now we have this habit on the Maarifasasa podcast where the previous guest leaves a couple of questions for the next guest to answer. And after this session with you, Phila, you're also going to leave 2 questions for the next guest going to come. So the question that was left for you, Phila, is it's more of like a 2-in-1 question. Okay, so it goes. The year is 2040. Artificial general intelligence is in full swing. What unique skill sets do humans have that still preserves our humanity and offer us a competitive advantage in the era of AGI, that is artificial general intelligence?
I think it's the emotional ones, Andrew. Empathy, sympathy. I don't think any machine can learn to be as empathetic or as sympathetic as a human being. I mean, I could be wrong, but at this point, with the development that I've seen so far and everything that I think is happening around just machine learning, I think that's a piece of being human that I don't think you can teach, to any machine. And as things get less and less emotional, as we get less and less in touch with each other, I believe there'll come a time where we will need those quite a bit. Even right now, Andrew, we're living at a time where anxiety and depression have really shot up through the roof. And professionals such as psychologists and therapists have become, very, very, very important part, a very important part of our lives. And what does that really require? Listening, empathy, sympathy. I see that growing, and I think in the year 2040, that will be a skill set that is as good as gold.
Thank you so much, Phila. It's really been wonderful having you, and we really look forward to having a session with you in Uganda soon. Really looking forward to that. It's wonderful always speaking with you, brother.
Thank you. I'm ready to come to Uganda. My passport is ready, and happy to do it tomorrow even.
You find your way to Manzini and find your way here.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. So I've been having this conversation with Phila Dlamini, and he's such a wonderful individual and has been a part of Maarifasasa. We're really happy for the incredible work he's doing out there, the lives that he's changing together with us. And one of my key takeaways from this session has been that nobody's really coming to help us. We are actually here to help ourselves out. From the Maarifasasa podcast, this is Eswatini at a Glance. The Maarifasasa podcast is hosted and executive produced by Andrew. Audio editing by Rahim Abdallah. Sound design by Andrew. Produced by Maarifasasa Studios for the Maarifasasa podcast.